simply because, at the time, especially when I was about 12, 13, and, everything, of course, that was also the time where wrestling magazines were still big. I'd go to the store after school and get a wrestling magazine, come home and read it, and Global would be on. It doesn't matter that I saw that same episode 3 weeks earlier. It was on at 4:30. I had to see it. Just sort of like a childhood reminiscence for me, I think, would be a reason why I would like to see it. And, of course, the WWE Classics on Demand, they show old World Class, they show old AWA, and I'm not sure if they own the Global footage, but if they do, I definitely think that's something that they should show, even if it's just one of these, like this Kerry Von Erich's tribute show from 1993. Chris Adams got a lot of notoriety there, because after a couple of months in Global, it was really full of WCCW alumni. And actually, I was watching some of that stuff on YouTube recently, and they were showing crowd shots and stuff like that. They showed a crowd shot of a young Lacey Von Erich in there, and I was just pretty floored when I saw that. Gary, did you have any thoughts on Global? I know that was the way you were really starting to wrestle a lot, so you might not have gotten to see anything. But did you ever get a chance to look at the Global era?
Yeah, we used to get it on ESPN, I think, over here on the East Coast, and I used to watch it as much as I possibly could. Me and my grandfather used to always watch it. We were big fans of him. It's a shame that they don't show much of it on, I don't think they show any of it really on demand on the WWF 24/7. I don't think I've ever seen any on there.
No, they just have, they'll occasionally show some World Class, but never any of the Global.
It's interesting to watch the Global, and you see some of these guys that were just starting out there, and then now you look at them, and they once were there, and now they were looking for Vince McMahon, and it would just be an honor just to watch them, because watching all the guys work is one thing I'd love to do, because I always learn something from everybody, and I still learn to this day. I'm already got 25 years in the business.
Right, and yeah, it was interesting, like I was saying earlier, that was Steve Austin's basically his rookie year. He was in Global. So you see him on there, you're seeing him as when he was basically green as gourd, and then about a year later was when he went to WCW, and everyone knows the story of him from there on. But Gary, you just said that you learned something from everybody you saw. What would you say that you've learned by watching Skandor Akbar?
Number one thing was when it comes to being a heel, I think he was one of the best ever. And when it came along to as far as getting people involved in the match and really getting them heated, he was. I think I remember seeing shows where people would actually jump over the guardrails and just try to get to him.
Right, he had that cigar, which nobody did at that time. There was always an ordinance in certain buildings, so anyone smoking a cigar was automatically monster heel almost.
Gotcha.
Another guy another group that grew up in Global was Harlem Heat began there, so I'm sure Booker T and Stevie Ray, specifically Booker T, learned a lot from him there. There's one more pre-recorded interview, and actually, there was a lot of guys that not only did Skandor Akbar taught once they were in the wrestling business, some of them really kind of came up with him and just kind of leaned on him from the beginning. And we're going to hear from one of them right now, and that's Alex the Pug Cortez.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here on the Skandor Akbar Tribute Radio Show, and on the line with us right now, we have Alex the Pug Cortez. Alex, how are you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Man, could be doing better. Of course, we are here celebrating the life that was General Skandor Akbar, and you had the chance to work with him, so we've got some questions for you. So if you don't mind, let's go ahead and get started.
Hey, no doubt, man. Let's rock and roll.
Being that you got to work with Skandor Akbar, what do you think that he wants the fans to remember most about him?
Well, I think if Skandor Akbar had anything to say at the last moment of his death, he would want you to know that his character was totally not him. He was born and raised in Texas, Berlin, Texas, and he was a real genuine gentleman outside the ring. When he put on his headdress and stepped out that locker room door, he was totally in character. And there's a very, very few, but there are some out-of-character interviews that he's done, and there might be some on YouTube. But I think Akbar would just want people to know that he was truly a gentleman.
Yeah. Now, what are you personally going to miss most about him, and what are some of your fondest memories of working with him?
Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but General Skandor Akbar gave me my first break in Dallas, Texas in 1987. They were actually over in Shreveport, Louisiana, doing a show back when it was World Class Championship Wrestling, and I had presented a tape to him of a couple of local matches I had in Louisiana, and he gave me my first break in Dallas. So he did a lot for me in this business, and he actually got me booked out in Puerto Rico in 1991. So I'm going to miss just him himself. You know, I mean, I wasn't able to make it to the memorial. It was a tough day for me Tuesday. I know a lot of the boys made it out to Wichita Falls. I'm just going to miss him in general. I did see him back at the Texas Shootout last February and said hello to him and spoke with him briefly. He did not look good then, but you know, I'm happy he was able to make it to Charlotte a couple of weeks ago for the NWA Legends Fest. I know there were several guys that he did not get to see for many, many years, and I know that was a good closure to him. But maybe I'm rambling on a little bit there, but I'm just going to miss him in general as a whole. He's just good people all the way around.
Now, if you were to write a book about his life, what would the title be?
I would title that probably General Skandor Akbar.
Mm-hmm.
One of the top best skills in this in the business.
I would agree with you. I actually saw a video that wasn't done too far long ago that he did in Texas for a company called IHW, where they did a WCCW tribute show, and for his age, he was still cutting the great promos.
Right. Yeah, he was. And one thing about Akbar is if you look at his career, he was never a babyface, and he kept that character intact, and he wasn't going to let anybody put that in a direction that was going to hurt it. You know, he was always been a heel, and that's what made him very famous. You know, a lot of guys go back and forth. J.J. Dillon, you know, Jim Cornette, Paul Ellering, you know, a lot of those guys did babyface roles too throughout their career. And General Skandor Akbar was a heel from day one, and he was a heel all the way up until last Tuesday. So I'm sure he's the babyface in heaven right now, though, enjoying the being inside of Jesus Christ right now.
Mm-hmm. Up in the big ring in the sky for sure. Now, my co-host Andrew Karluk has a few questions, so Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Alex. What do you think that Skandor Akbar, or Ak, as he was known in some circles, would want his fans to know the most about him?
Well, I'm going to reiterate what I said a while ago. I just think that he rarely had the opportunity to show people the real him. He was always in character. That was real important for him. He's very, very old school, and you know, that was the problem with this. That is the problem with this business now. Is everybody is smartened up now because they do not see the same person they see in the ring when they see him at the airport or see him at the mall or see him at the hotel or grab him in a car. You know, you have got to stay in character in this business if you want it to be believable. And I think overall, if anybody wanted if Akbar wanted anybody to know anything about him, is that he was a genuine father, uncle, brother, and just a good people all the way around. That's what he was, and I think it's what he would like people to know, you know.
Okay. Now, what kind of an impact did Akbar leave on the people that are around him, you know, the other boys and people like that?
Well, Akbar, he showed you he showed you what kayfabe meant in business. He showed you how to live a character. He showed you how to live on the road. He showed you with patience and kindness and gentleness and self-control. He had all those characters, and he showed you how to live on the road. He showed you how to save your money. He showed you who to communicate with and who not to, who to associate with, who not to, when to kayfabe, when not to kayfabe. You know, you're talking about somebody who's an NWA three-time legend and started in this business in 1964, over 40 years almost, you know. So Akbar brought a lot to the table for this business, and he was well respected throughout, and he saved 90% of his money, so he didn't need to stay in this business to gain wealth or to for any type of money issues, because he put his money away, and that was why he was able to stay in Dallas, Texas for the last 40 years, because he saved every dime he made, you know.
It certainly sounds like he was the epitome of old school, you can say. Well, what's one of your favorite out-of-the-ring stories about Akba that you can share with our listeners?
You know, Akbar and I were very, very close, like many other guys were with him. And I'll tell you a funny story. Gosh, there's so many of them out there. But a funny story. Well, it was kind of the joke was on me, really, but I was on the phone. I was in Houston, Texas. I was like 18 years old, maybe 19 years old in 91. And I'm on the phone with Akbar in Puerto Rico, and I'm in Houston. And he said, you know, Alex, I might have you a spot out here in Puerto Rico, you know. I said, well, that's great, Akbar. Listen, what interstate do I take out of Miami? And he giggled and laughed. I mean, he must have laughed 5 minutes. He said, no, Alex, you got to get on an airplane, son, to get out here. But that was just one of our fun times together. And, of course, we had many stories on the road. I had the honor to ride with him and Rocco Lubitsch a few places, you know, when I was out in Texas in the early 90s. But so many stories. You know, he was a big football fan and college football, and he loved the Longhorns. So everywhere you went, you heard about that and all the records and stats and, you know, players. And he knew those like the back of his hand.